Alright, so hello and welcome back. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to check out another one of my videos. Today I'm doing a Casual Katie Get Ready With Me, which means it's a very laid back video, only going to do one frame, not too many fancy edits, but we're going to get to play with a new palette, which is the most exciting part of these videos. So today we are going to be playing with the new Beauty Bay Wilderness palette. Now I asked you guys on Instagram because I placed an order with Beauty Bay, obviously, but I also picked up the Cash Beauty Color Trip palette as well as the Wilderness palette, and I asked you guys on Instagram which one you wanted to see first. And this one currently is winning by a majority, so we're going to play with the Wilderness palette, and let me know down below in the comments if you want to see me play with the Color Trip palette. If you haven't seen it, this is Cash Beauty's new palette, and it is a very fun, colorful palette. Whoop! Almost dropped it, with a row of cake liners down here, and I can't wait to get into this. But like I said, we're going to play with the Wilderness palette, and I am a-okay with that because look at this beautiful palette. Oh my goodness. It is such a gorgeous array of colors. I have no idea what I want to do. I don't know, kind of want to play in the reds and the greens down here, but then these brighter colors are really pretty as well. So I'm going to sit here and think a minute, but I do have to prime my eyes. So let me go ahead, prime my eyes, roll the intro, and then we can get right into it. Okay, so I think I have an idea of what I want to do. Per usual, I'm just going to dive in and we'll see where it takes me. I'm going to take a little brush. This is the S211 brush from Stilazzi, and I'm going to take this more. I'm trying to decide between these two. I still don't know. This one and this one, they're both so beautiful. I'm going to take the mustard tones. I just love a good mustard tone. This is Marigold, and we're going to tap into that. This is my first time trying Beauty Bay. I'm so excited. I just primed with a very sheer type of primer, and we're going to go on and put it straight in the inner corner. My workspace right now is such a mess. I have stuff everywhere. All my good brushes aren't here. So my sister's wedding was last weekend, and this is the first video I'm filming since then, and I still haven't fully unpacked from her. I helped do her makeup and all the most of the bridesmaids' makeup for the wedding, so it was a crazy busy day. I was in the wedding too, so it was a busy Sunday. That went on really nice. And anyway, so I feel like I'm just still don't have everything in order. I got most of the house back in order and the kids and whatnot, but I haven't had time to come in here in my makeup space by myself and kind of put everything away that I pulled out for the wedding and whatnot. So I feel like I'm constantly hunting for brushes and constantly hunting for a clean spot on my makeup table because, like I said, it's very messy right now. Okay, there is a gorgeous, this is more of like a, I wouldn't actually call this like true like mustard. It's got a lot more brown to it than I anticipated as opposed to like more yellow tone. So anyway, I am going to just clean off this brush and keep using it. But now we're going to go into, I'm going to step into Leaf actually. I was going to go straight into this guy, but I feel like that's a pretty dark color, so I don't know how, I feel like this palette is pretty intensely pigmented, so I'm going to go ahead and go into Leaf, like I said, and I'm going to put that right after it. But yeah, my sister's wedding was this past weekend, and it was a beautiful wedding, but I tell you, it was an outside wedding in August in Florida, and I think the temperature was like in the 80s or 90s. I really forget. It was in the evening, so that saved us a little bit from like absolutely dying. It wasn't like in the middle of the day, but it was hot. So leading up to it, I've been so worried and stressed out about doing the makeup because like I said, I did the makeup for most of the bridesmaids, but I did it for the bride, which always stresses me out because I'm like, I'm not a makeup artist, you know, I don't know what I'm doing kind of thing. But anyway, I was doing her makeup, so I really tried my best to make sure it was as bulletproof as I could make it. But even like the day of, we had all our makeup done and whatnot, but we were just so hot. We were outside for like, I don't know, all told several hours taking pictures and whatnot, even beforehand, so it was a little bit more warm than in the evening when the wedding happened, or in the afternoon I guess it was more so. So our wedding, like, we were just dripping, but by some miracle all of the makeup stayed on our faces and the pictures turned out really good. I still think back to how like sweaty I felt in the moment, and then I look at the wedding pictures, like I've seen a couple of them and whatnot, and I'm just amazed that they just look nice, I guess is what I'm saying. So I was like, I guess the routine, the steps that I did and whatnot really did help. And honestly, I do think a big part of it holding up so well was I did use a really good setting spray, and I think that kind of extra step really helped kind of solidify it and help everything hang together because I was just so hot. Oh my goodness. But anyway, so I thought it might be fun to share with you guys what I used on their face, because it was definitely like humid, Florida heat, weatherproof, and it's still, like I said, I'm still kind of in shock that it worked. But before we get into that, I'm gonna go ahead and dive into this shade right here. It's called Twilight. I want to go blue on the very, very outer edge, and I'm going to place this on here and kind of blend it upward, but not go too terribly high, because I think I might take a different blue that high. So I'm keeping this mainly on my lid. But anyway, so yeah, my routine with everyone was they all did their own moisturizer for their skin and whatnot. I had them just use their typical one. And then when I started their face, I actually used of course I can't find it now, but it is basically the Drugstore dupe for the Smashbox Primerizer. I'll leave a video I did where I demoed it against the Smashbox one up here, and I'll link it down below, of course. But I use that primer on everyone because I feel like it gives such a silky base and just a really good, you know, like hydrating base before you put on all your makeup, because that was another thing. I didn't want to make everyone's makeup, you know, so flawless and cakey that once we started sweating, it would look like 10 times more cakey and just terrible, honestly. That was my biggest worry, so I thought adding that would help, you know, thin out and make sure the foundation lays nicely on top, and then, you know, doesn't cake on too easily. That's just what I found with that primer. So anyway, I use that for everyone except for people who are super oily. I use the Makeup Forever kind of mattifying just a little bit in like the main cheek area where I feel like things get cakey and smear off when you get all sweaty. But that's really all I did for prep work for the skin before I went in with the foundation. But the foundation that I used on most everyone, and then, you know, on the bride, was a foundation that I feel like not enough people know about because it's just so, so good. Let me show you guys. It is the Flower Beauty Get Real Serum Foundation. If you haven't tried this, I highly recommend it. I've been using it. I've tried it on people with super dry skin. I have very oily skin and I like it. I do sometimes mix in a little bit of something else, or just, you know, set it very well, or just expect to get extra glowy because it is a serum foundation, so it gives that type of glow. But I love it, honestly. Like, for it being such a, you know, serum and glowy foundation, I absolutely love that foundation, and it looks so good on everyone. Like I said, I used it with people with normal skin that day. I used it with very dry skin, and everyone just, it looked really, really nice on them, honestly. I really like it. So I love that foundation. It's so light on the skin. It never ever gets cakey. Even sometimes when I put too much, I never feel like it's just caked on my face or just looking too thick or whatnot. It's very easy to just kind of keep blending. I just think it's such a great foundation that holds up so nicely, so effortlessly. Yeah, that's the foundation I use on just about everyone, and I thought it performed so well. I used it on the bride. It looks so, so nice. I'm going to take a touch of Sky, and I'm going to use that to blend out, this is too big, to blend out the dark blue at the very outer edge. So yeah, that worked perfectly. I really like that foundation. I've been wearing it so much. My sisters have been wearing it because I wanted them to try it before the wedding. And also, I think the thing I love about it the most is it gives nice coverage. It makes your skin look really healthy and glowy, but it looks like skin at the same time. Like, it covers all the, you know, a lot of your imperfections. It's not like a full coverage, but it covers a lot. But it looks like skin, and I just love that aspect of it. So I've been wearing it a lot, and that's the one I was like, we need to wear this for the wedding because I think it'll hold up so well, and it absolutely did. Everyone's makeup I thought looked really nice, and I know that has a lot to do with that being a nice, solid, good foundation for the base. Nothing too heavy when you're sweating. Sweating like crazy. I could not believe how much we sweat that day. I forget if I said it before, but it was an outdoor wedding. The reception was inside, but the wedding itself was outdoors, and all the pictures were outdoors, so that's why we were sweating so much. Okay, I think I pretty much like how this blend is. The only thing I'm not sure is if I blend enough in the very crease of it. So let me switch out just because I don't have quite the precise brush. I'm going to just clean off this one and just kind of take it back and forth because I don't want there to be a line in there. But anyway, for concealer, I ended up using my all-time favorite concealer. Like, I feel like this is my #1, but this is the Catrice Liquid Camouflage Concealer. I think this is like my 3rd tube. I've gone through it so many times. I've gotten my sisters on it. This is what I use for, I'm pretty sure, almost all the bridesmaids, and of course the bride's makeup. And like, I didn't see anyone with like heavy creasing under their eyes or you know, fading or anything. Like, it's such a lightweight concealer, but at the same time it's full coverage. It's the craziest phenomenon. I'm always amazed by how like lightweight it looks, but how much it covers. So it's just been my go-to concealer for so long, and when I was, you know, picking out makeup to use for my sister, that was the first one off the top of my head because I knew I didn't want anything too heavy because she's going to be doing a ton of smiling and, you know, they're going to be doing a ton of sweating. So I was like, okay, something that's gonna work okay with all this, and that was the, you know, one that came to mind, and it performed so beautifully. I was very, very happy with it. So definitely another fantastic, and again, this is like drugstore. Both Flower Beauty and the concealer Catrice are drugstore. It's just such a good concealer and the foundation. They're a beautiful team together because with the serum being so lightweight and whatnot, sometimes I find with lightweight foundations you can't really use a full coverage because it'll just look too awkward. Like it'll look very, you know, kind of skin-like on your face, but then your under eyes are all cakey. But these two have that same lightweightness to them, that same skin-like finish that I thought both of them blended and worked together so well, and just gave her a very like flawless yet not too makeup-y look that I was super, super happy with. Okay, we're gonna pause from there because I feel like as I pick up a brush to do a little bit more, but I feel like I'm just gonna keep going back and forth. I like how it is. I just feel like, especially with grungy looks, I feel like I can just blend forever and I never know when to stop because I'm always worried about, you know, it just not looking super, super blended. Okay, moving on from there, we're going to put a little bit of my NYX glitter primer. I'm gonna put that on the lid, and then we're going to, what are we gonna do with the lid? I haven't even really thought that far. What do I want to do with the lid? What shall we do? All of these are so beautiful. Even this one, like, I feel like this is the neutral one. I'm kind of intrigued by it. I really am attracted to this one. Obviously, I feel like that'll be a pretty one, but I'm kind of thinking I should do one of these to really make it pop, especially like this. No, this is pretty dark. This is also super pretty. I want something to really pop on my lid to kind of contrast with such a dark crease that I got going on, so that's why I feel like this will probably be best. You know, I'm going to do this on the inner half, and then I'm actually going to put this going over to the blue. I feel like that'll be pretty. It's a little dark, but if it's on the outer corner going into the dark blue, I won't mind it. So let's go ahead and give that a try. So after that, after I put primer, foundation, and concealer, what else did I do? I went ahead and I set the under eyes, and I kind of just kept it to the under eyes at this point. I used the Hourglass, I forget, like finishing veil. It's in like the loose powder. That one is like my setting powder for like super special occasions. So a wedding was a very special occasion. So that's what I used to set the under eyes at this point, just the under eyes, and that worked so well. I was very happy with how nicely that set things. I was so very happy with it. So I set that just a little bit, and then I went ahead and did the cheeks, and I did a little cream contour before because I knew I wanted to go very light on the powder because I didn't want cakiness happening when we started sweating, because I knew if, you know, it started to cake and stuff, it's hard to fix when your makeup's caking and you're sweaty. Whereas if I put cream on and just lightly set it, if I needed to fix the makeup, I could put more cream on and do more blending, and the sweaty would probably just kind of help everything mesh together. Sounds a little gross, but you know what I mean. When you're all hot and sweaty and you're trying to like dab off and redo your makeup, I haven't found a way to gracefully help fix powdery cakey makeup, but I have done it with success with cream. So that's why I always wanted to use a lot of cream, and I use the Milk Makeup contour, stick contour for her contour. Obviously, I did that. I used I think the blush, a blush version of this. I forget. I used a cream. It was either that or the Flower Beauty cream blush for her, just a little bit. She didn't want it too blushy. And then I used the Hourglass, the little triangle highlighter cream. I used that for her highlight. And once that was all blended in, I very, very, very lightly went around. Oh, I didn't even tell you, but I'm using Breeze, that one that I showed you before. Right there, I'm gonna use Breeze. But I very lightly took more of that, the Hourglass setting powder, and I very, very lightly set everything. And that was basically all I did to the face. Once I had lightly set it, I doused their face, everyone's face and the bride's, with the Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray. This is just a deluxe size in the cherry scent. I doused their face in that really well, and that was all I did for the faces. And I think I did the bride's makeup at, what time was it? 10 or 11 in the morning. Her wedding was at 4. And then I think we were done with the wedding and kind of done with pictures by like 5 or 6. I honestly can't remember. But anyway, last time I saw her, I've been seeing a couple of the wedding pictures come out, kind of like the teasers, and all the makeup still looks, you know, like really good, really nice and flawless. So I was super happy about that. And that night, I never had to touch up her makeup at all, which I was super surprised about. So all the pictures look great, and I'm super happy about that. I wore almost the same, you know, kind of procedure with my makeup, with, you know, what I did with the bride and all the bridesmaids, of course. what I did with the bride. I just, I used a mattifying primer and I didn't for the bride because she has drier skin. But I did the same thing, and when I took my makeup off at 9 o'clock is when we got home. I was shocked with how nice it looked. Again, it looked worn in a little bit, but you know, for how worn in it was, and with how much I was sweating and running around and just how much that makeup had been lived in, I was shocked because if you think about how much we did that day and how much we sweat, I was surprised there was anything left on my face, and I was surprised there was none of that like spotting and pooling that you can get. And that's the thing that I don't really like about very heavy foundations, is that, you know, they're so heavy that if you start to sweat and your oils mix in from your face and whatnot, then you start getting those like spotty issues, and I did not have that at all with the Serum foundation. I did mix in a drop of the Maybelline, what is this, Superstay. I mixed in a drop of this with like a full pump of this, so just a touch of this to give me a little more coverage and a little more like of the mattifying aspect, but I didn't want the full thing because I didn't want to be cakey when I was going to be sweating so much. And I feel like that drop just gave me the kind of extra oomph I needed for the whole mattifying effect, because like I said, I am very oily and I didn't want to have my oils fighting with the sweat, fighting with the makeup. So I was impressed by how nice it looked at the end of the night. Okay, now I'm going to go in, like I said, with that shade over here, which is Ocean. I don't even know if you could see that shade all the way over there. I kind of took it too far here, but that's okay. We're going to top it on top anyway, so it'll work. Yeah, anyway, that is basically the routine. I just was so, like I said, I feel a little weird like talking to you about how nice it was going on and on, but like, I am someone who I've always struggled to find, you know, a really good foundation routine that can stand up to Florida heat, you know, well enough for like a special event like that. I've always just dreaded having to figure those out. And then when, you know, she was, my sister asked me to do her makeup and it was an outside wedding, I'm just like, okay. So it was something that I had been like spending a lot of time trying different makeup and trying different, you know, makeup products and thinking through the steps. So I was really happy to see that it works so well. So that's why I was like, you know what, I need to talk about this and I need to share this with you guys. So if anyone else is, even if you're not doing someone's wedding, are gonna be in a wedding, if you ever have to, I don't know, want to do your full face and you're gonna be out sweating all day somewhere for a special event that you want it to stay looking really flawless, these products honestly worked so well for me. And even if you're not, you know, outside sweating all day, I would still recommend each and every one of the products that I mentioned to you guys. I know that Hourglass is super expensive. I got that in an influencer years ago and I literally only use it on special occasions because it's such a nice powder but so expensive. Honestly, to me, I almost just use the number 7 powder because this one also is amazing. I feel like it's super comparable to the Hourglass. However, for a wedding, I was like, okay, Katie, you can use the pricey stuff. And, you know, even though I feel like this would have been just fine, the Hourglass just gave me peace of mind too. But that's also a good one if you want more of a drugstore option. The number 7 press setting powder is amazing. Okay, here's what we have. I'm going to go switch back to that Breeze a little bit. This is a formula of eyeshadow. I feel like I'm not talking about the palette at all. I'm so sorry. This formula of shimmer eyeshadow really reminds me of Glam Light's shimmer formula. So if you like their formula, you'll probably like this as well. It works for me. It's not my favorite. I just feel like it's a little like that slippery feeling. I feel like it takes a little bit to pick up and move and whatnot, but it is undoubtedly very pretty. I'm not saying it's not, but anyway, I think we're about done with this look. I feel like it's a very pretty look. I love the grunginess of this palette. That's what just kind of swept me off my feet. When I saw the hints for a green palette, I was like, oh, I'm probably gonna be tempted. And I was kind of already set my mind to trying it because I've been wanting to try, you know, Beauty Bay for so long. So I was like, okay, if this is a green theme palette, even if I like half of it, I should give it a try because the brand is affordable. I've been so curious. So when it launched, I was amazed by how much I absolutely loved it. Like they didn't just do like a neutral grungy green palette, like they did color. Like I love the red in it, like all these tones. Oof, I love everything about it. And there's neutrals in there for people who want to do like an all neutral eye. You can take this little corner here and get it. So anyway, I just love so much about this palette. I was super excited when it launched, and yeah, I have not been this excited to dive into a palette for so long. I love grungy colors, so this is just, I love it. So I'm going to take a pause and stop chatting for a minute so I can do my liner and mascara, and then we'll come back to do the lower lash line together. So be right back. Look what I just found. This is the Catrice Prime and Fine Fresh It Up. This is the primer I used for everyone's makeup. I couldn't find it before, and then just found it. Anyway, let's go ahead and finish it up. I'm just gonna take a little bit of this Fenty Beauty, I don't know, it's her gel liner in black. I'm just gonna line my eyes. So for my bottom lashes, I have so much fallout on this side, and I think I remember the green chunking off a little bit more and falling down, and I have a ton of sparkle right here, which bothers me, which is why I always do my makeup or my face makeup after my eye makeup typically when I'm not recording a video, but honestly not a ton of fallout on this side, which I don't remember having that chunk fall off. So I do think all that sparkle is from that, but besides that, I really like it. Okay, kind of switching back over. Let me think about what I want to do for my lower lash line. So I think I'm going to stick to these tones down here. So I'm going to start with this darkest one, but then I'm going to use this to blend it out, and I might take a touch of this on the very inner portion of it. That's kind of what I have in mind. So I'm going to tap into Raw first. A very, very skinny little brush. Where did it go? This little guy here. It's a Flat Precision eyeshadow brush, ES7, and I'm going to put that just against my lower lashes. But anyway, I think that was about all I had to say for the makeup for the wedding. That routine was great, and definitely it's a face routine that I am going to keep in mind for any time I know I need to have my makeup staying intact all day, and I'm going to be doing a ton of sweating, and I want it to still look nice in pictures because, yeah, we were all sweating like crazy, but it came off in pictures at the worst as just a very glowing makeup look, which doesn't look bad in pictures in my opinion. Okay, now I'm tapping into Poppy, which is the bright red. And I'm going to use that to blend. Ooh, that is very bright. I feel like that just took away any depth of the red that I had going on there. So I'm just going to tap that over. We'll just go like that. And I think I will take that other orangey color and I'm going to blend it over all of that. We'll see. I might have to put in more of that raw, the deep red, because I definitely feel like the Poppy popped. Anyway, but yeah, that was a great routine. So if you need something, I just thought I would share. If you need recommendations on what to use when you're going to be outside sweating, I was so impressed. If you're curious at all, I use the Lorac Behind the Scenes eyeshadow primer for Everyone's Primer. I'm going to go into this now. This is Sunrise. And then I use the Club Nebula palette, the Kaleidos and Angelica Nyqvist palette collab. I use that because I used it on myself on a whim because I was like, oh, this has the colors for the dress. So I used it on my own makeup, and then when I showed up to do everyone else's makeup, my first sister that I did was like, oh, just what you have on your eyes is cool. And so I did her makeup, and then everyone who sat down was like, what you did for her. So we all pretty much matched, which was really cool, and the makeup lasted really well. The shimmers, you know, I didn't notice anyone having like crazy fallout under their eyes. I was very happy with that. Not that I was looking that closely. We were all just sweating to death, but nothing noticeable. And it lasted all day. None of their eyeshadows creased, and some of my sisters have more hooded eyes. Some of them have more deep set eyes and whatnot. So I was happy to see that overall, like, it was a pretty good formula for everyone. For my sister who was getting married, for her eyes, we used the Modern Renaissance actually, because she had those type of colors and she kind of wanted to match the bridesmaids but be a little bit more neutral-ish, so nothing too bright and sparkly, but that I thought worked out really well. And again, no issues with that, like lasting and whatnot. It held up really nicely. I could add a touch of blue in this outer corner. I think I'm going to do that. Now I'm going to go back to that really teeny tiny brush. This is Profusion. Profusion's eyeshadow brushes are phenomenal. I'm tapping into Twilight, which is the dark blue we used already. I'm just gonna touch it right in here. What else did I use on it? Oh, the eyeliner that I used on the bride and then some of the bridesmaids who wanted wing liner was the Essence one. I can't remember off the top of my head what it's called again, but I'll link it down below, of course. But that one I've gone through so many tubes of. It's fantastic. It really does remind me of the NYX matte liquid liner that is right here. I think they discontinued it. I've loved that for so long, but the Essence one works for me just as well. It's a little bit cheaper, so I tend to just gravitate towards that. It's not as like intensely pigmented, but I found that if I just go over an area twice, sometimes if it looks a little sheer, it gives me the same look as the NYX one that I love so much. So I use that on everyone's eyes for liner, and then mascara. Everyone kind of used different mascara. I just said make sure it's waterproof to everyone just to be safe. I'm just taking a clean brush and blending these two together. And what else did I use? I'm trying to think. I used Natasha Denona's Super Glow for a lot of people's highlighters. For my sister, the bride, she didn't want anything too intense when it came to her highlighter, so I actually just did the I just used the cream highlighter on her, and that's all I did for her highlighter, and she liked that. What else? Mascara, inner corner. I used the Super Glow for the inner corner for her as well. I'm going to touch into a little bit of that light blue we used before, the sky, and I'm just going to take it around, kind of place it back in because I feel like it's gotten lost. I think that was about it for makeup, so that was an exciting adventure trying to, you know, plan all that makeup and make sure I had enough for everyone, make sure I had enough time for everyone too, because I was doing so many people's makeup and whatnot, trying to coordinate that to make sure we were on schedule and leaving in time, and I had time to do like my own hair and makeup. That was a little crazy, but it all worked out really well. I was literally, you know, finishing up my hair as we were loading up the cars to go to the wedding venue, but everyone's got done in time. I think I did like 8 bridesmaids and then my own makeup. Oh, and I did 9 because I did my mom's makeup as well. So I think I did, what is it, 8, 9 people's makeup, and then my own hair and makeup before we left that morning, and we had to leave at 1. So I think I got there at, you know, my parents' house to do makeup and stuff like at 9, and then I was just boom, 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 trying to get them all done. I did, you know, one method if you were ever someone, I don't know why I'm sharing this, you guys might find this boring, but one thing that I did that I definitely think helped is that when I first showed up to do makeup, I had everyone come through and I did everybody's eyes. And after I did everybody's eyes, and then I fit, you know, the bride in whenever she wanted to get her, because she had like a certain time she wanted to get her makeup and stuff done. And I did her, I think I did her eyes first as well, and then she went off and did her hair, and then I finished with her makeup. But that was, that's my tip, is if you ever have something like that and you have the time and you have a bunch of people to do, I really think it helped that I did everyone's face makeup like early in the morning around 9, 10 or whatnot, and then closer to us having to leave and being out, then I went in and did everyone's faces, and I feel like it helped the makeup be a little bit more fresh before we went out and sweated. Oh my goodness, almost forgot. Inner corner highlight. Let's go ahead and do that. And obviously I'm going to take this shade right here. I wanted this all over my lid because it looks amazing, but it will look beautiful as an inner corner highlight. So let's do that, and then we will be done, and I will stop talking your ear off. This is a really pretty color. Let's see, I'm just going to take this little sponge tip applicator. Wow. I'm going to press it on. I like these sponge tip applicators. I feel like I say that every time, but I picked up a bunch of these little ones in a little tin, and I like them for like pressing it on there, and I feel like it also helps me not get a lot of crazy fallout when I do this. That is so pretty. I want to do a look with that all over the lid. That's going to be really pretty too. Yeah, this is pretty much the look. As I finish tapping this over, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the finished look, the close-ups and whatnot that I like to take so you guys can really get an up-close look and see how the makeup turned out. I really like it. It's just like a sparkly, grungy, yeah, got that pop of brightness on the lid type of eye look that I am all about. I love it. My first experience with Beauty Bay is this palette, and I am so blown away. Like I said, the shimmers are like the Glam Light shimmer, so if you're familiar with that, that's what they're gonna be like. Not that I hate it or anything like that, but just if I had to pick my preference when it comes to shimmer shadows, it's not my top one, but as you can see, it's beautiful, so I'm not complaining over here, just making an observation. If you're new to the formula as well, that's what it makes me think of. The mattes are absolutely beautiful. I'm trying to think of what it makes me think of. Like, it's not something so intensely pigmented that you have to be careful, like, you know, with blending, kind of like Menagerie, I feel like you have to be very careful. It's nothing on that level. What would I equate it to? I don't know, just really, it's just a really nice formula. Maybe I'll have more information when I give you guys the full review. But for this first impressions, I am so impressed. I am so pleased. I have nothing on my lips. For lipstick, oh well, I'm gonna put on this DJ's Unique Boutique Brown Sugar Lip Gloss. But yeah, that is gonna do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing me use this palette for the first time. Let me know if you like this more like super chatty, not too much on the makeup. I feel like I tend to try to keep it a little bit more focused on the palette, and today I feel like I've just not talked about the palette at all, and I'm so sorry about that if you'd like to hear more about the palette as I'm using it and going along. But as always, feel free to let me know your thoughts down below. I'll see how this video does, how it does in views and in interest and interaction. That's kind of how I gauge if I will, you know, do another video with it later. So if you guys enjoy this video, give it a thumbs up. Let me know down below in the comments that you do, and feel free to share it with someone who is interested in this palette, and let me know if you'd like to see more videos. And like I said, if it does well in views, then I'll try to maybe do a 3 looks 1 palette with this video. I feel like it's been a while since I've done one of those, so maybe this will be the palette because it's definitely super inspiring. So with that said, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.